Hi there. Welcome to Science Sci-Fi, connecting the public to science and technologies through storytelling. Typically in my videos, I address a scientific topic, in many cases about space, and then I provide some future examples from science fiction movies and books. Today, we will deviate from the normal theme. I'll do exactly the opposite. We will examine how science fiction influenced our world, and specifically how science fiction inspired Elon Musk to found SpaceX with the aim of making humanity no less than a multiplanetary species, and why, arguably, science fiction is the most important genre of all. Stay tuned. I think you're going to like this presentation. I would like to start with a quote by Yuval Noah Harari. Today, science fiction is the most important artistic genre. It shapes the understanding of the public of things like artificial intelligence and biotechnology, which are likely to change our lives and society more than anything else in the coming decades. Yuval Noah Harari, 21st Lesson for the 21st Century. Yuval is the author of Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. In his later books, he expressed some concern about the future of our civilization. He said there are a number of threats that are really dangerous and are threatening our civilization, things like nuclear war, climate change, and the most important are disruptive technology, like genetic engineering or artificial intelligence. These are things that the public don't really understand. We don't know exactly how artificial intelligence are going to change the world or genetic engineering, especially if we're going to genetically engineer ourselves, humans. There are risks involved. Luckily, there are TV programs like Star Trek that show us a character named Khan and what may be the outcome of the genetic engineering, or the Matrix, or that show us what may be the outcome of artificial intelligence going wrong and trying to destroy us. But what is it trying to say is that most people, most of the public, they don't read scientific article in Scientific American or New Scientist or MIT Technology Review. However, many people do watch blockbuster movies. And as such, science fiction movie that points out how new technology changed the world or may pose a threat to our civilization is a better medium to educate and inform the mass, at least better than scientific article that very few people read. How science fiction is related to Elon Musk? Elon Musk could be a fictional character. Robert Zurbin, the head of the Mars Society, who has known Musk for over 20 years, told the Post, "He's been anticipated in science fiction. Just read all novels by people like Robert Heinlein and Ellen Steele, who wrote about rich businessmen recruited by visionaries." Robert Zubin is the president of the Mars Society. He also the author of non-fiction books such as The Case for Mars and his latest, The Case for Space. So, what stories do influence Elon? I didn't have the honor of interviewing Elon myself or meeting myself in person. Hopefully, one day my channel will be big enough and we can do just that. So this research is based on information I found on the internet in different articles, blogs, YouTube channels, and of course on Twitter. So what science fiction and fantasy books Elon read and was influenced by? First one is the Foundation trilogy by Isaac Asimov, Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein, Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. Other authors Elon Musk indicated in the past that he was influenced by are Arthur C. Clarke, and he said that Ian Banks is good. And in film and TV, original Star Wars, and he also likes Star Trek. Since we have a limited time, we don't have an infinite time, our focus in this presentation will be Foundation. Now, before I continue, I just want to plug in my own book. If you like this channel, you like what you see, and you want to support this channel, there are a few ways you can do that. First thing, you can smash the like button and subscribe. You can check the books, my books on Amazon. I'm a science fiction writer, and I hope you like science fiction. The link will be at the bottom of the presentation. And other than that, you can also start mining Picoin. Maybe it's going to be in the future an alternative to Bitcoin. Who knows? It's free. You can download the app and start mining it. Links below. Asimov Foundation started as a 3-book series. Later on, a few decades later, a few more books were added to the series. I'm going to focus on the first 3. That it's talking about a point in the far future, perhaps 50,000 years in the future, when we have a human civilization, a galactic empire that span across the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy. It's a huge empire, and one guy, Harry Seldon, he calculated in a new scientific method called psychohistory that the civilization, the empire, is about to collapse. So what he did in order to prevent the collapse, or not to prevent the collapse, but shorten the time the empire will collapse, he decided to found a foundation of scientists that will write an Encyclopedia Galactica at some remote planet at the outskirts of the galaxy. So he gathered a lot of scientists and brought them to this planet, and they were able to survive there and maintain science and technology, and they even able to develop new things and become even more advanced than the empire. The empire, on the other hand, because of some historical event, they started the process of decline. Asimov, when he wrote the series, he was basing it on the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. So the idea that Harry calculated that it should take, I don't know, many thousands of years, maybe 100,000 years until a new civilization and a new empire will come and replace the old empire. But by creating the foundation, he anticipated and calculated that this disruption is only going to take 1,000 years instead of 100,000 years. Of course, then all kind of things happen, but it's a very interesting story. I read the story in the early 1980s when I was still in high school. I remember that after I read it, I was really awe-inspired, just like Elon Musk. So I remember I went out of my house, and back then there was not too much light pollution, so I was able to look up and see the stars, see the galaxy, see the Milky Way, and say, wow, this is going to be cool. In the future, we're going to have a galactic empire. I think Star Wars was already out there, but at that time, I didn't view empire as a bad thing. So I thought it was really wonderful that our civilization will go and colonize and expand into the entire galaxy. I found this really cool. Now, just a bit of a warning, I tried to read this story again last year. It wasn't as grabbing as it was as I was a kid. Still, the concept is we have a very advanced civilization. Something happened and our civilization collapsed. But if we'll go and build another civilization, or at least another group of scientists in some remote place disconnect from the rest of civilization, if our civilization collapse, that group will be able to restore our civilization a lot faster than what it could happen without that group. Sound familiar? Just before I continue about how Elon was influenced by this book series, I just want to say that there is Apple TV is now producing and are about to release the Foundation TV as a TV series rather than books. Back to Elon Musk and SpaceX. So if you recall, Foundation was talking about civilization collapsing, but a group of scientists in a remote place that kept all the science and all the information were able to restore the civilization and build the galactic empire, or in our case, our human civilization, back from the ashes. So Elon Musk in the early 2000, after he sold PayPal for the $305 million, he decided that it's going to be very important to create some kind of a colony on Mars, similar to the Foundation and the Foundation series. What he did, he went to try to find some rockets. He wanted to convince NASA to start sending humans and people to Mars and establish some kind of a colony on Mars, that if something very, very bad happened on Earth, we'll have a civilization on Mars that can later come back to Earth and help people on Earth restore our collapsed civilization, if it will collapse. So he decided, his idea was to create something called the Mars Oasis, send some plants to Mars, and by having this plant on Mars, it was supposed to inspire people and inspire NASA to start a robust Mars mission that will end up in colonizing our planet. He tried to buy a rocket. He went to Russia. Of course, they offer him a very expensive price, so he decided not to do that. Then on the way on the airplane from the Russian to the States, he did the math on a piece of paper, and he found out that the biggest issue why rockets are so expensive is because they are expendable. So he decided to found SpaceX. This is a company that today revolutionize, disrupt the whole space industry. They're trying to build rockets that are reusable. They already managed to reduce the cost per launch from something like $10,000 per kilogram to something like $2,000 per kilogram. But the next project that they're working on is going to lower the price even more, perhaps even to $200 per kilogram or even $20 per kilogram. Theoretically, it is possible. Practically, it's not possible because the rockets are expendable. So, what motivates Elon Musk? Why did he founded SpaceX? Well, his idea is no less than making sure that our civilization and our species become multiplanetary. Again, like in the Foundation series. He quoted a few times that his goal was to create a colony, a self-sustained city on Mars with 1 million people by the year 2050. That's only 29 years in the future. Now, I'm not sure if you can get it, but if anyone can get it, it's him. And why is he doing it? Because he's inspired to do it. Why was he inspired to do it? Because he read Asimov's Foundation. So you can see science fiction has a great influence over visionaries and billionaires and people who can change the world. It's not just Elon Musk, but he is one of the most influential person right now at this point, and he was influenced by Asimov Foundation along with other books and TV series. I'm not going to discuss much about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but in February 2018, when the Falcon Heavy was launched into space, at some point we saw the Tesla car in space with this sign here, "Don't panic." That's from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments if you what you think about it. I typically read all the comments and respond to all of them except for spam. And also don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Subscribing is free and YouTube will notify you whenever there is a new video. So why not? Click. See you around.